I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Fucking A.
Hey, jerk! Speed kills!
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is a paid PayPal requested review for a film called Speed Kills, where it's a bland, dull, boring film where John Travolta looks like a baked potato head. And I like John Travolta, but he doesn't look good in this movie. Potato head. Things go out to... He might not mean... I don't think he wants to use... WRJ518. That might be like his username. I don't think he wanted me to say his real name, but he sent in 2 requests for PayPal via PayPal, not for PayPal. This movie's killing me. Speed Kills. I just reminds me of the beginning of not the movie Halloween, the original, where it's like, hey, Speed Kills. I'm like, yeah, this kills your fucking brain cells apparently, because I'm fucking up in the first minute, but I'm gonna keep it in because screw it. But thank you once again, WRJ518. Thank you for that, for your PayPal request for this and the next movie, which I'll get to. If anyone ever wants to send a request via PayPal, doesn't have to be a review, it could be any type of video pretty much. My PayPal link will be down below, or if you ever want to join my Patreon, which has certain tiers, and based on tiers, certain stuff, you do requests or so forth, that'll be down below as well. But Speed Kills, if you've never heard this film, I don't blame you. This is a John Travolta direct-to-video movie. I think he's trying to outrace Nick Cage for direct-to-video stuff, but at least Nick Cage, he has bad stuff, but then you'll get Mandy. I know a lot of people don't like Mom and Dad, but I liked it. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks interesting. This one called Color Out of Space looks pretty interesting. Like, Nick Cage is doing a film where he deals with killer animatronics. I'm like, is this Nick Cage in Five Nights at Freddy's? I want to see it. I can't wait for it. But that's what I mean. At least Nick Cage is doing some weird stuff. Although, technically, the next film is a pretty weird, fanatical film. Wink, wink. But this is just boring. It's so dull. I did not see what the fuck movie did. Gotti. I didn't see it. Just didn't care to see it. For all the bad things about it, though. And this, it's one of those films that in the first 5 minutes, it shows the ending of the movie. That's what kind of movie it is. Tom Sizemore, who has these pants that go all the fuck way up as if he's Steve Urkel. He's a white old Steve Urkel, ready for, did I do that? Like Tom Sizemore, I don't know, he's think a flood is going to come or what, but he's got his pants so fucking high, he's got like no crotch left. And he says my boss like 8 fucking times, and he goes in to talk to John Travolta, and then Tom Sizemore leaves. Then Travolta gets in their car. A guy pulls up and shoots him. So like this movie has its own fucking spoiler. You spoil it. No, in the first 5 minutes it spoils that your lead character dies. And I guess this is based on a true story, but I don't know anything about the actual story. But you have John Travolta. I'm sorry, he does not look good in this movie. I'm sorry, man. I like John Travolta. I love Broken Arrow. I enjoyed... He was good in Saturday Night Fever. Look Who's Talking. For what it is, there's some fun to be had. Blowout. Good movie. Not big on the ending, but, you know, I get it. I still think it's a pretty good flick. I enjoyed The General's Daughter. I think that's an entertaining one. I like John Travolta. I like Basic, which I saw in the theater back in the day. John McTiernan film. But man, just... He's playing this guy, and then most of the film is 25 years earlier, but he looks almost the same in this old... Because he's old. Sorry. But he's supposed to be in like his 30s, but he looks like he's in his 50s because he is. And him and his co-star, the hairpiece, and I'm not one to talk, but call it like I see it. One thing leads to another, he moves his family to Miami, becomes successful as a competitive boat racer, selling high-end speedboats. He loves his powerboats. And that's really all I got out of this movie. John Travolta's character loves powerboats. That's really all I got out of this fucking film. He loves his powerboats. And a good chunk of the film is supposed to be in the 1960s, but if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't fucking know. I mean, I just came off of seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Granted, that's a bigger budget, but that recreated that time period wonderfully. Yet here, I couldn't tell it's the fucking 60s. It's almost like it's trying to be Goodfellas, but with none of the directing talent, none of the... I mean, apparently, there's a name listed for the director of this who's never done anything else. So it might be... People might not even know what Alan Smithy is, but Alan Smithy was the moniker that was used, that if you didn't want your name on a project, they just said, I don't want my name on it, so just put directed by Alan Smithy. But I know years ago, the higher up said, you can't do that anymore. You can't use Alan Smithy anymore. But I guess that doesn't mean you can't use any others, because either this is a person that's never done anything, I can see why, or there's a second name connected to this, the motherfucker who did Texas Chainsaw 3 Dicks. And when I think of that, I spit, obviously. 3 dicks in my face. Do your thing, cuz, or whatever the fuck that was about. Goddamn Leatherface is Farmer Bob. Oh, he's at a fucking carnival and doesn't do a jack shit. With his goddamn overalls. He's getting ready to audition for the Son-in-Law 2 or something. But anyway. What else do I get out of this? It's like trying to be like going through the years up to this point, you know, Travolta's death, which was already spoiled at the beginning. And it's just like random shit happens. He gets addicted to speedboat racing. The speedboats, the races they have, they're not exciting. Honestly, speedboats in general are not exciting unless it's James Bond or John Woo. Hell, Summer Rental's boat race was more exciting than any of the shit in this. One scene in particular that many people talk about, well, many people didn't watch this film, but the few who did watch it, they mentioned this scene where there's this god-awful CGI storm. And the boat race is happening. It's storming, raining, and it's terrible. It's like an asylum version of the perfect storm. God-awful CG. And just like, he's winning championships. He's borrowing money from James Remar, who's like a mob guy. That's really what it is. Then at one point his son gets in an accident and he talks with his wife. And I didn't understand this dialogue. He goes, he was in an accident. Don't worry, we will get this right. What the fuck does that mean, you will get this right? Your son was in an accident. So why are you saying, don't worry, we will get this right? Okay. You will get this right. That's a weird way of expressing that type of sentiment. I don't know. I've never heard it. If it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll make sure our son is better. Or don't worry, we'll take care of him. I've never heard it expressed, don't worry, we'll get this right. I don't know. And then his son is in a wheelchair. And Travolta's talking with them. And then punches the TV. Or like breaks the TV. And then I don't think we ever see that son again within the wheelchair. We never see the fucking son again. So I'm like, what was the point of you and the son talking? And we never see the son in the wheelchair for the entire rest of the fucking movie. So what was the point? And it seems like all Travolta wants to do, like maybe the only reason he did this was to fuck with boats and ride on boats. Kellen Lutz, he plays like the nephew of James Remar's character, Kellen Lutz. He was in Twilight. He was in The Legend of Hercules. I think he was in Expendables 3. I believe that was him. I didn't care. Matthew Modine shows up for a 2-minute role where he plays George Bush Sr. Like George, what was it, H.W. Bush? George Bush Sr. Matthew Modine. I mean, Matthew Modine from like Full Metal Jacket and... Yeah, that Matthew Modine. Does anything come of George... No, not really. It's just like... Well, we gotta throw this in there. Because apparently maybe that happened in the real person's life, I guess. But that's what I mean, like, there's not really a flow to it. It just... It's like you're driving a car and just trash, then trash, then trash, then trash, trash. Like you fucking go around. You don't want to cheat. Kellen Lutz sucks. Try that tough. How about some cooperation? I'm like, how about some participation and suck in this? Just at the end of the day, the bad guys, the feds are going after them. They want Travolta to work moving drugs, using his boats, and Travolta doesn't want to do that. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. You know, we helped you, and you're not as clean as you think because you got money from us, which was the mistake he made and paid for his life by the end of it. And then by the end of the film, the feds are coming down, and the bad guys want to put their assets under Travolta's name, and Travolta's just pushing them on, going, yeah, you go ahead, you do it, and I'll keep it. So then he finally gets subpoenaed, so he's going to be put into court, and of course, the drug smugglers don't trust him, like James Remar and them, they don't trust him. So they want to put a hit out on Travolta. He has a few conversations with his lady. Tom Sizemore, he's in the film counting the beginning. But the beginning and the ending is the same fucking scene, so I don't know if that counts. Other than that, like a couple minutes. And Tom Sizemore's not in good shape, sad to say, probably because of his years of drug abuse. Sad to see, because I liked him as an actor. I thought he was great in The Relic. I love The Relic. Just maybe want to go watch The Relic again. But, of course, because of the beginning, you know what happens. Because they were worried about him. Tom Sizemore tells him, leaves, and then this other guy comes in a car, shoots him, Travolta dies, fade to black, and then you just hear the news going, he died, you know, about the news reporting on the death of that character. I'm like, all I got out of this film is the character loves speedboats. Travolta, like, nothing was really accomplished. why was this film even made? Why was this story so important or so interesting or so intriguing to be told? There are plenty of films where it's about a guy who messes with the mob and then either he's with his protection or he gets killed, or I mean there's plenty of movies that talk about like why this story in particular, other than the boats. Or even the title Speed Kills, like really? There's nothing fast in this fucking movie, including its pacing. And again, it just made me think of the original Halloween. Hey, speed kills. I mean, yeah, it kills your fucking brain cells. Well, watch this fucking film. It's boring. It's tedious. It's dull. It's bland. Travolta, he's not sleepwalking, but he's not that great either. He's trying to look younger, and it doesn't work. I know that's a rude thing to say, but he doesn't look like Potato Head. I don't really know why this needed to be made, and it was a waste of like James Remar and Tom Sizemore. The acting isn't that great. It's not that exciting. It's not thrilling. It's not suspenseful. It's not witty, or doesn't have that excellent direction like a Martin Scorsese would have in Goodfellas. Like Goodfellas is a much longer movie, and yet it went at a faster pace than this fucking movie. So fuck Speed Kills. It could kill itself. Thank you once again, WRJ518. And you know what? Speed Kills did accomplish one thing. It made the next film not look so bad. And that's The Fanatic. It has its issues, but it was at least entertaining. This was not. So it accomplished one thing. One thing only. So thanks, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Fuck.